You came into our land and ran us out of our land and oppressed and killed and maimed and sexually abused and tortured. Don't ask me for the solution. I'm fighting for freedom. Get your boot off of my neck and then we can talk. Ending the occupation as a whole, ending apartheid. It's not rocket science. It's literally not rocket science, right? People power matters. People's efforts are blessed. Our prayers matter, our protests matter, our boycotts matter. Going to Srebrenica, which was one of the most profound experiences of my life, I met mothers who had lost every single member of their family, and they still had the most beautiful of smiles. Over these last few years, we've experienced in the West intolerance coming from multiple directions. And that type of hatred is not just a threat to us, but it's a threat to what these societies claim to be built upon. If you think that protests and boycotts and the power of the people, the encampments don't work, then why is it that these countries are so determined to shut them down around the world? Why is it that Israel is pumping billions of dollars into its media artillery, into PR, to try to shut down these protests? So from a rational perspective, people power matters. And from a Muslim perspective, people's efforts are blessed by the all-powerful when they are sustained and sincere and consistent. Our prayers matter, our protests matter, our boycotts matter. As crazy as it is, I've never been more hopeful of a free Palestine in my lifetime than I am right now.
So what will end the war in Gaza and bring peace to Palestine?
Well, first and foremost, there needs to be obviously an immediate ceasefire, and I think that we're close to any moment. I think that Netanyahu is prolonging this genocide, obviously, to save his political career, which is quite an indictment of him as just a person, a human being, if he can even be referred to that way anymore. There needs to be an immediate ceasefire. The people of Gaza need to breathe. And there needs to be a prosecution, not just of Israel, for this genocide, but the United States needs to be held to account as well. I say that as an American. Yes, that makes my life difficult. And then there needs to be an immediate, sustained momentum in ending the occupation as a whole, ending apartheid. It's not rocket science. It's literally not rocket science, right? The reason why Israel is escalating its settlement expansions, escalating its occupation, is because it recognizes that it has reached a place in which this is not sustainable. It is losing every single war outside of itself. Every single war outside of itself. Look, you came into our land and ran us out of our land and oppressed and killed and maimed and sexually abused and tortured, and have continued to expand this illegal occupation on us. Don't ask me for the solution. I'm fighting for freedom. We're fighting for freedom. So when you start throwing around like a term like two-state solution or one-state solution, the solution is first and foremost, get your boot off of my neck and then we can talk. And I say this with much confidence. Palestinians are not going anywhere.
So you are old enough to remember the genocide that occurred in Srebrenica in 1995 and are now witnessing the events in Palestine's Gaza.
So first of all, on a personal level, I was so deeply connected to that growing up. We actually took refugees into our home when I was a child growing up as a result of that, from both Bosnia and Kosovo, by the way. I visited Srebrenica, and the stench of genocide is still there. But I can tell you this, that the same resilience that I see in the mothers of Srebrenica is the same resilience that I see in the mothers of Gaza. People are still hurt. We're going to be going into the 30-year anniversary next year. People are still finding bones and remains, and the janazas are still happening. And I anticipate in Gaza the same will be true, that digging under the rubble for the next several years and truly accounting for the casualties will be a generational effort. But if people can rebuild from that, then people can rebuild from this. And I do believe that the human spirit, when it is connected to the divine, is so unbreakable. They'll come back from this. Going to Srebrenica, which was one of the most profound experiences of my life, I never emotionally shook it at all, especially the display of the shoes of the children and the elders and across the board. you know, where they lined up the shoes in the same place where those people were massacred. Going there actually, as much as it broke my heart, it actually filled my heart as well, because I met mothers who had lost every single member of their family, and they still had the most beautiful of smiles, and they still had the ability not just to function, but the ability to express empathy to me when they knew I was a Palestinian, and to say to me that you'll get through this like we got through this, that your people will get through this the way we got through this. And so I believe, and I hope sooner rather than later.